In Colombia there exists the most terrifying sniper the world has ever seen. He spreads terror among both the government and the criminal underworld. No one clearly knows his true origins. He does not belong to any organization. He does not serve any government in the world. He has no concept of morality or humanity. His only reason for existence is money. And his pride is absolute accuracy from impossible distances. People know him by a single name: Satan, the demon of the bullets. Once someone accidentally falls into Satan's sights, there is no chance of returning. He does not care who the target is, a high-ranking official or an innocent civilian. As long as there is an order, Satan will pull the trigger without blinking. He always carries a special gun. It is over 3 meters long. From a distance it looks like a miniature cannon. But in reality this is a specialized firearm called anio, an advanced weapon capable of penetrating armored vehicles from kilometers away. In Satan's hands, anio becomes a symbol of death. No target has ever escaped the barrel once he has decided to shoot. He acts with terrifying coldness, no expression, no hesitation, and never fires more than a single bullet. Each bullet from Satan corresponds to one life erased. But he cannot remain forever alone at the peak of the assassin's world. Because on the other side of the globe there is another equally terrifying shooter. A man living in the struggle between good and evil. That man is Brandon Beckett, a sniper sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. Brandon Beckett is known by his nickname Lynn. He is an elite sergeant. Throughout his career he has carried out over 6,000 assassination missions. Tens of thousands of terrorists have fallen beneath his rifle. On his uniform are numerous prestigious medals. Lynn has a cold exterior. His eyes are sharp as razors. His will is as firm as tempered steel. He is considered a living symbol of the modern battlefield. But Lynn is not a soulless killing machine. Deep within his soul he carries wounds that refuse to heal. He once watched comrades end their own lives, simply because they could no longer bear the burden of guilt from being soldiers who kill. Memories of those events haunt Lynn every time his finger squeezes the trigger. There were moments when his hand trembled as he fired. Lynn decided to withdraw from the battlefield. He wanted to rediscover himself. But the past did not easily release Lynn. One day his former commander appeared at his doorstep. It was Florentino, a legend among snipers in the United States. He had once been called the king of marksmen. Now he served as a senior advisor for the CIA. Florentino did not come merely to check on Lynn. He brought along an important mission specifically for him. Florentino spoke briefly. Lynn had to go to Colombia to join a CIA operation targeting an infamous drug lord named Pablo. Initially Lynn shook his head to refuse. He was exhausted by the fight. But Florentino did not try to persuade or force him. He spoke just one sentence. If you refuse, many more families will be shattered beneath Satan's gun. More innocent lives will be taken by Pablo's ruthless schemes. Those words pierced straight to Lynn's heart. As a soldier who had witnessed comrades sacrificing themselves, he could not remain on the sidelines. Lynn nodded in agreement. He departed immediately for Colombia. Not for fame or glory, but due to the responsibility of a soldier who cannot turn away from evil. As soon as Lynn set foot in Bogotá, he was brought to the local CIA headquarters. Here he met Captain Kate Estrada, a smart and decisive female commanding officer. Estrada was responsible for coordinating the entire operation. Even more surprising was that Lynn encountered Florentino once again inside the briefing room. His former mentor had now become the highest-ranking commander. Between the two men there were no friendly greetings, no emotional reunion, just a brief nod and the stern gaze of two men who had survived together through the trials of war. Florentino presented the plan concisely. He explained that Pablo was cunning like an old fox. For the past 10 years he had never stayed in one place for more than 2 days. He was protected by an extensive network backed by influential high-ranking government officials. Capturing him seemed almost impossible. But recently Pablo had made a critical mistake. He hired a sniper assassin to eliminate a rival. An assassination took place 10 days ago. The victim was another drug lord killed in his bathroom from 3 kilometers away. No one but Satan could have accomplished this. This confirmed that Satan had been recruited by Pablo. It was the perfect opportunity for the CIA to capture both targets simultaneously. Florentino made clear the primary objective was to capture Pablo alive. If necessary, they could eliminate Satan. Lynn did not speak, but his eyes clearly showed determined agreement. Intelligence had just reported that Pablo would leave his hideout tomorrow. He planned to stay at a villa hidden deep in the jungle. This was the CIA's only chance to act. Immediately the plan was put into motion. Lynn and a CIA operative named Robin were tasked with scouting ahead. After confirming safety, special forces teams would move in quickly. Before dawn had fully broken, Lynn and Robin were already deep inside the forest approaching the villa. Both were carefully camouflaged. They moved cautiously step by step without making a sound. Lynn and Robin chose a high vantage point from which they could clearly observe the entire house. Robin carefully measured wind speed and calculated the distances to every important position. Lynn focused intently observing every window and blind spot around the villa. His finger rested steadily on the trigger ready to fire the moment a target appeared. Slightly further away, Captain Estrada was leading another Special Forces team. They approached from the front. A second commando unit led by Captain Gaza circled toward the villa's rear entrance. Everything proceeded perfectly according to the plan. But the extreme silence around the villa made Lynn uneasy. There were no guards, no lights, and no indication of human activity inside. Lynn whispered quietly to Robin that the silence felt strangely unnatural. It seemed like a trap waiting to be sprung. The moment Gaza's hand touched the back door, a massive explosion instantly tore through the air. The door vanished completely in a violent fireball. A large quantity of explosives had been pre-installed, detonating precisely when the commando team approached. Debris from the house scattered everywhere. The commandos were thrown backward amid screams and chaos. Several men were instantly killed by the blast. Captain Gaza collapsed onto the grass, his body covered in blood. No one else but Satan had ambushed them. From a distant position he observed and waited patiently. But his real target was neither Gaza nor the commando team. Satan used Gaza merely as bait. He knew Estrada possessed the most crucial information about Pablo. Satan's first bullet struck Gaza's leg, intentionally wounding rather than killing him. The goal was to lure Estrada out. Exactly as Satan anticipated, Estrada immediately rushed outside to drag Gaza to safety. That was precisely the moment Satan's second bullet pierced the air. Lynn immediately tried to locate the enemy. But the distance was too great to counterattack in time. Satan's second bullet hit Gaza squarely in the shoulder. This time it was fatal. Gaza collapsed without any chance of survival. Robin quickly pinpointed the enemy's position at 11 o'clock. Lynn fired back instantly. But Satan had already retreated. Lynn's bullet flew harmlessly through the empty space where Satan stood moments before. For the first time in his career, Lynn realized he was facing a truly terrifying marksman. Someone who knew exactly when to strike and when to vanish without a trace. The failed raid forced the entire team to retreat chaotically to the CIA base. Nobody spoke a word, but everyone understood something had gone seriously wrong. Pablo could never have known every detail of the attack without someone leaking information from inside the organization. Florentino quickly realized this as well. He suspected a traitor inside the CIA assisting Pablo and Satan. From now on, their plans had to completely change. The immediate priority was identifying the mole hiding in the shadows. The atmosphere at the CIA headquarters became extremely tense. Everyone looked at each other with suspicion and caution. No one dared fully trust anyone else. The silence in the briefing room served as an unspoken accusation directed toward everyone present. Florentino stood at the command table declaring that Gaza's death and the failed raid were undeniable proof Pablo knew detailed operational plans. Only someone inside the organization could possess such accurate information. Lynn stood silently in the corner, but his mind raced relentlessly. He recalled every small detail of the attack. The explosives perfectly set to detonate exactly when the commando team approached. Satan's perfectly selected ambush position. Especially the deliberate choice not to shoot Gaza in the head but instead aiming at his leg to lure Estrada outside. All these details indicated that the enemy did not simply intend to eliminate the commando team. Instead, they had carefully planned to achieve their primary goal, assassinating Estrada. But for some reason they had failed with the second shot. Estrada remained skeptical. She asked Lynn why he was so sure that Satan's real target was her. Lynn calmly explained that if Satan wanted Gaza dead, he could have easily killed him with the first bullet. But he chose not to do that. He deliberately shot Gaza's leg to lure Estrada outside. The moment she appeared, Satan fired the second shot immediately. Lynn emphasized further that the second bullet could have passed through Gaza and killed Estrada if not for Lynn's timely counterattack. It was Lynn's shot that forced Satan to hastily retreat before finishing the decisive blow. This proved Satan had not anticipated facing a sniper as skilled as himself. Estrada fell silent. Lynn's reasoning struck directly at her remaining doubts. But before Estrada could say anything more, the head of CIA Internal Affairs suddenly entered the room. He angrily declared that the losses were too great and the operation had completely failed. He demanded a change in leadership and suggested withdrawing Lynn from the mission due to ineffectiveness. Florentino remained silent. He simply looked at Lynn with meaningful eyes. Both men then quietly left the briefing room. Once alone, Florentino softly told Lynn not to trust anyone anymore, including himself. Lynn nodded in understanding. He realized the battle had entered a new stage. It was no longer just a mission but had become a deadly mind game between two of the world's greatest snipers. Florentino decided to entrust Lynn with complete control over the new plan. But he warned they only had 72 hours to find the traitor and capture Pablo. If they failed, the entire mission would be cancelled permanently. Early the next morning, Lynn and Estrada were secretly transferred to a safe house managed by the CIA in the outskirts of Bogota. The house was located deep in an isolated area. It was surrounded by barbed wire fencing. A special forces team was assigned to guard the perimeter day and night. Robin was also dispatched there for additional support. Florentino instructed Lynn to keep his gun close at all times. He emphasized that just one careless mistake would allow Satan to turn this place into hell instantly. But less than 1 hour after Lynn's group had settled into their positions, Satan received a message containing complete and detailed information about the secret location. Without hesitation, he immediately took action. Satan put on a long cloak and took his Anio rifle with him. He swiftly moved through small dark alleys. Upon reaching the rooftop of an abandoned building over 2 kilometers away from the target, he cut a small hole in the window glass. Satan positioned his rifle carefully on a tripod, measured wind speeds, calibrated the scope, and waited patiently. On the other side, darkness gradually enveloped the safe house. Everything was immersed in an oppressive silence. Lynn clearly sensed something abnormal in the atmosphere around him. Standing on the rooftop, he quickly scanned the surrounding area. Lynn fully understood that the fences and guards outside could not possibly stop a sniper like Satan. Robin carefully scanned each rooftop in the area using infrared binoculars. Suddenly, he spotted a faint movement over 2 kilometers away. Lynn was immediately informed. Without hesitation, Lynn climbed to the highest observation point and aimed his scope in that direction. But all he could see was a frighteningly still darkness. Opposite him, Satan was ready. As soon as Lynn appeared in his sight, Satan locked onto the target. The moment he squeezed the trigger, a bullet from Lynn's side flew toward him first. Satan swiftly dodged sideways. The bullet ripped through the air, grazing past his shoulder. Satan instantly fired back. Lynn quickly ducked down as the bullet narrowly missed his head. Undeterred, Satan switched to a new type of special ammunition. Smart bullets capable of adjusting their trajectory to follow the target. He fired and the bullet flew like a missile. Lynn immediately recognized the danger. He sprinted along the rooftop, jumped down to a lower level, and clung to the wall. Lynn descended quickly to inspect the scene and discovered a still-hot bullet fragment lying on the ground. He immediately brought it back to CIA headquarters for analysis. The analysis results stunned the entire investigation team. The type of ammunition Satan used was highly classified technology exclusively supplied to American Special Forces. These bullets were capable of tracking targets via signals with nearly absolute accuracy. Florentino quickly concluded that a mole inside the CIA was not only leaking operation plans but also providing secret weaponry to Satan. Unable to remain at their compromised location, Lynn and Estrada were swiftly placed in an armored vehicle. An elite special forces team was tasked with escorting them out of the city to a safer location. But as the convoy was passing through a suburban neighborhood, Estrada suddenly received a message on her phone from someone she knew. It was an elderly priest who had previously collaborated with her on criminal investigations. He claimed to have extremely important information regarding Satan's true identity. He requested an urgent secret meeting. Estrada said nothing, but her expression showed hesitation. Before she could decide, a large truck suddenly rammed the convoy from behind. The armored vehicle was violently thrown off the road. Doors swung open amid thick clouds of dust. A group of heavily armed gunmen quickly emerged from the truck without warning. Immediately, they unleashed a hail of bullets on the escort team. Bullets flew like rain and the special forces team fell one by one. Lynn reacted swiftly. He pulled Estrada from the vehicle and rolled into a concealed corner. His gun fired continuously. 3 attackers fell instantly. After finishing off the attackers, Lynn turned around searching for Estrada but found only her phone lying on the ground. Its screen still brightly displayed the priest's message along with the exact address for their secret meeting. Following the address and the message, Lynn quickly arrived at a poor neighborhood on the city outskirts. The narrow alleys were damp, dark, and deserted. Suddenly, a door swung open. Estrada appeared, restrained by an unknown woman who held a gun pressed against Estrada's temple. Lynn aimed his gun directly at the woman, but before he could act, furious barking erupted behind him. A pack of large vicious dogs charged straight at Lynn. Quickly turning around, Lynn fired a shot into the air. The loud noise scattered the dogs into panicked retreat. Seizing the moment of chaos, Estrada reacted decisively. She used all her strength to kick the knee of the woman restraining her. Lynn immediately fired. When they thoroughly inspected the small room, Lynn discovered an old jewelry box placed on a table. Inside was a delicate necklace with a small photo attached. Lynn picked it up, carefully examining the face in the image. The man in the picture had sharp, dangerous features. Lynn immediately recognized him as Satan from the Brazilian military records. Without hesitation, Lynn sent the image to CIA headquarters. Minutes later, Florentino urgently responded. The man in the photo was Elias Cardozo, formerly a member of Brazil's special forces. Cardozo had been a sniper prodigy but deserted after suffering serious injuries during a fierce battle in the northern mountains. Military records referred to him as Broken-Winged Hawk. After that incident, he completely vanished from all official documentation. Now the man known as Broken-Winged Hawk had returned, becoming South America's most notorious assassin, known as Satan. This revelation dramatically changed the direction of the CIA's operation. It also revealed a far more troubling truth. Estrada's kidnapping was no coincidence. Someone had known her exact route and leaked that information directly to Satan. When Lynn and Estrada returned to base, they immediately presented all the evidence to Florentino. Robin was also present in the command room. Florentino stared at the photo for a long time, then firmly concluded the traitor supplying Satan with intelligence and secret weapons must be someone holding significant power within the CIA. Unable to wait any longer, Lynn proposed launching a proactive counterattack. He believed if they could not locate Pablo through intelligence networks, they should dismantle every critical link in his system. Once Pablo's protective network collapsed, he would have no choice but to reveal himself. Estrada quickly agreed to this plan. She provided a list of Pablo's closest associates. These individuals headed the largest arms trafficking, drug smuggling, and money laundering operations throughout Colombia. Once these key links were severed, Pablo would be weakened and left with nowhere to hide. That same night, Lynn and Estrada swiftly began their operation. They carried out raids on Pablo's warehouses and hidden facilities one after another. They took no prisoners. There were no lengthy interrogations. Each target was quickly neutralized. Empty rooms and bloodstains left on the walls clearly demonstrated their determination. The impact became immediately visible. Pablo's network suffered severe damage. Secret bank accounts were frozen. Trafficking routes were shut down. Many of his trusted associates either fled or were killed to prevent information leaks. Others surrendered out of fear. Within days, the name Brandon Beckett, Lynn, had spread through Colombia's criminal underworld like a fierce storm. No one expected an elite American sniper to appear solely to hunt down and destroy Pablo's network. Not for money or fame, but to avenge fallen comrades and protect Estrada from Satan's deadly pursuit. At the peak of their operation, Estrada received a secret call from the priest who previously messaged her. This elderly priest had worked closely with Pablo when he first began building his criminal empire. Initially, he refused to cooperate, but touched by Estrada's sincerity, he finally disclosed extremely valuable information. He revealed that Pablo truly trusted only one person when he was in danger. That person was a mysterious woman known to be Satan's lover. She never appeared in public, yet she was the only one who knew Pablo's current hiding place. They traced clues from this symbol and quickly identified the leader of this network. His name was Rocco, an experienced dealer protected by heavily armed mercenaries. Rocco had previously sold secret information to both governments and international criminal organizations. Lynn did not approach Rocco as a regular client. This time he came not to buy information but to deliver a warning and an ultimatum. Their encounter took place in a small deserted bar. Lynn coldly placed his gun on the table, staring directly into Rocco's eyes. Lynn spoke briefly, stating Rocco had only one choice: immediately disclose Pablo's hiding place or become the final name on Lynn's blacklist. Rocco trembled visibly at this ruthless warning. He knew clearly he had no other options. After a moment's hesitation, Rocco slowly revealed critical information. Pablo had left his previous hideout. Within the next 3 days, he would meet directly with Satan to order the assassination of Lynn and Estrada. Afterward, Pablo planned to escape Colombia by sea. The meeting between Pablo and Satan was scheduled at a coastal hotel south of the city. This information was immediately sent to Florentino at CIA headquarters. Without hesitation, Florentino approved a large-scale ambush plan. Lynn would play the role of escorting Pablo out of the city. The detailed plan was meticulously prepared. The actual travel route would be constantly changed. The vehicle transporting Pablo was merely bait. The entire journey would be carefully controlled by the CIA to lure Satan directly into the ambush position. Early the next morning, the whole world closely watched a special news report about Pablo's extradition to the United States for trial. An armored convoy slowly moved out of the city in broad daylight. At the center was a tightly sealed white truck appearing identical to a federal prisoner transport. But in reality, Pablo was not inside the vehicle. The entire convoy served as a cover for the ambush plan. On the rooftop of a building several kilometers away, Satan was ready to fire. But looking through his scope, he immediately noticed something unusual. The truck showed no heat signatures, indicating nobody was inside. He squeezed the trigger. A smart bullet flew straight into the truck, causing a violent explosion. Yet no bodies appeared. Satan instantly realized he had fallen into a CIA trap. Immediately, snipers positioned nearby simultaneously opened fire on his location. A group of gunmen quickly advanced from behind the road, attempting to support Satan. but they were completely under control. CIA special forces rained bullets upon them, swiftly eliminating each attacker. Both his hands still firmly gripped the Anio rifle. Their eyes remained emotionless. Between them lay only the sky and an endless void. No cover, no retreat. But Lynn's bullet was specially designed with a proximity explosive mechanism. The blast knocked Satan off balance and sent him falling backward onto the ground. His rifle flew from his grip as blood flowed from his wound, staining the concrete. At CIA headquarters, Lynn's confirmation signal was clearly heard. Simultaneously, data analysts successfully recovered messages from Satan's phone. A familiar name appeared prominently in his contact list. It was the head of CIA Internal Affairs who had vehemently insisted on removing Lynn from the operation earlier. The entire truth gradually emerged. This high-ranking traitor had been supplying Satan with secret intelligence and weaponry throughout the operation. Robin silently handcuffed him amidst the contempt and fury of everyone present. The battle of wits conducted in the shadows had finally ended. Florentino watched silently from a distance. He showed neither joy nor resentment. He only let out a quiet sigh, as if finally lifting a heavy burden carried for many years. At last justice had prevailed.